All right, let's get right into it. You're listening to this because deep down, you know something. You've got potential. And not just any potential, the kind that can shape your future, that can create a legacy people remember. But potential is nothing without action. We all know that feeling. You're fired up, you're motivated, and something's missing. Maybe it's direction, maybe it's discipline, or maybe it's that fear of being the underdog. But let me tell you something straight. Being the underdog is your greatest advantage. Every great story you've ever heard, every hero you've admired, started at the bottom. And they didn't wake up one day a hero. They worked for it every single day. In this episode, we're going to talk about what it means to build your legacy, brick by brick, choice by choice. You're not waiting for greatness to land in your lap. You're creating it, shaping it with your hands, and you'll realize that being around people who are doing the same will only push you harder. It's time to embrace that underdog feeling, harness that potential, and turn yourself into the hero you know you are. Number 1, knowing your potential isn't enough. It's time to build. We all like to think we're capable of greatness. You've seen glimpses of what you can do, whether it's in training, at work, or in your relationships. But here's the truth. Potential means nothing without action. A lot of people get stuck in a trap of believing that because they could be great, they're already halfway there. Newsflash, you're not. There's no magic leap from knowing your potential to living it. It takes work, and not just random bursts of effort when you're feeling pumped. I'm talking about consistent, disciplined effort, daily steps that move you toward your goals. You want to be remembered? You want your name to mean something? Then you need to build that legacy one day at a time. Your future isn't waiting for you. It's being created by every choice you make right now. Ask yourself, when was the last time you took deliberate action toward your legacy? Not just showing up, but truly giving it everything you've got. If you can't answer that honestly, then today is the day to start. Number 2, the underdog mentality, your hidden superpower. We all love a good underdog story. It's wired into us. The small guy taking on the giant, the fighter coming back from the brink of defeat. But why does this underdog resonate so much with us? It's because deep down, we see ourselves in that struggle. When you feel like you're at a disadvantage, like you've got something to prove, that's when you find out what you're really made of. The underdog doesn't have the luxury of coasting. The underdog has to work harder. And that's why they succeed when others don't. If you feel like the odds are against you, good. That's exactly where you want to be. It's in the pressure, the grind, the frustration where you find your strength. This is where you sharpen your skills and build resilience. The underdog isn't expected to win, but when they do, it's because they never gave up. They never settled. So, are you willing to take on that mindset? To recognize that no one is going to hand you anything, and that's your advantage? Because when you fight like you've got something to prove, when you push like no one expects you to succeed, that's when you start to flip the script. Number 3, surrounding yourself with legacy builders. If you want to build your legacy, you can't do it in isolation. Look around you. Who are you spending your time with? Are they people who push you to be better? Are they chasing their own greatness? Or are they holding you back with excuses and complacency? If you're the best in your circle is too small. There's a reason you get inspired when you're around people who are hungry for success. Their energy, their discipline, it lights a fire in you. Being around legacy builders forces you to raise your own standards. You see how they work, how they grind, and it pushes you to do the same. You want to stay motivated? Then find those people who are already where you want to be, or better yet, those who are pushing even harder than you. Watch them, learn from them. But most importantly, let their example remind you that your potential is only unlocked through effort. This is about momentum. When you're surrounded by people who refuse to settle, you won't be able to settle either. So check your circle. Who's pushing you forward? And more importantly, who do you need to leave behind so you can finally take those steps towards your own greatness? Number 4, every day is a step in your story. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that their legacy is some far-off achievement, something they'll start working on tomorrow, next week, or when the time is right. Let me tell you, the time will never be right unless you make it right. You're not building your legacy someday, you're building it right now. Every single day is a chance to write another chapter in your story. How are you showing up? What habits are you developing? What excuses are you cutting out? Each day that you make the choice to train harder, to push through discomfort, to focus on your goals, that's a day closer to becoming the person you are meant to be. And yeah, you're going to have bad days where it feels like nothing is working, like you're not making any progress. Those are the days that count the most, because anyone can keep going when it's easy. It's when you're struggling, when you're doubting yourself, that you have the chance to prove you're serious about this. So next time you're tempted to slack off or give in, remind yourself, this day, this choice is building your legacy. Number 5, you know what you want to become. Now act like it. Here's where things get real. You already know what you want to become. Maybe you haven't admitted it out loud. Maybe you kept it to yourself, but you know. You've got that vision in your head of who you're supposed to be. But right now, you might not be living like that person. You're waiting for something, motivation, the right circumstances, who knows what. But here's the deal. If you want to become that person, you've got to start acting like them now. Stop waiting for some future version of yourself to magically appear. You want to be a champion? Train like one today. You want to be a leader? Lead by example right now. Every decision you make, every habit you develop is shaping who you are. So ask yourself, are you acting like the person you want to become? Or are you holding out, waiting for some ideal version of yourself to show up? The truth is, the only way to become the person is to start living like them today. Right now. No more waiting, no more excuses. Number 6, the underdog who becomes the hero. Let's bring it back to where we started, the idea of being the underdog. There's something powerful about feeling like the odds are stacked against you. It gives you the hunger to prove everyone wrong. And when you push through that, when you refuse to back down, something incredible happens. You don't just stay the underdog, you become the hero. Your legacy isn't just built on the days when things are going great. It's built on the moments when you're doubted, when you're tired, when you're struggling but choose to keep going. That's what makes the difference. That's how underdogs turn into heroes. Right now, you might feel like you're at the bottom, like no one expects much from you. Good. That's your fuel. Use it to prove them wrong. Use it to push yourself harder than anyone else. Every day you show up, every day you put in the work, you're moving one step closer to that hero you see in your mind. Your legacy isn't something you're waiting to build someday. It's not something you talk about or dream about. It's being built right now with every action you take. If you're willing to put in the work, if you're ready to embrace that underdog mentality, if you surround yourself with people who are doing the same, there's nothing that can stop you. You've got the potential. You know what you want to become. And the only thing left is to put in the work every single day and never give up. You're not waiting for a hero. You are the hero. Now go out there and prove it. Until next time, train with purpose, live with discipline, and strive to achieve your best.